सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। हरि ओम तत्सत। हरि ओम तत्सत। So Rishi Ashtavakra is sharing his experiences, which are typical Advaita Siddhanta, or rather Ajatavada Siddhanta, which we are learning. And we have come up to shloka number 70, and from there we shall start today. 17वां श्लोक हम पढ़ने जा रहे हैं और उसके हम so there itself in the first word we find Brahmabhutamidam sarvam किंचित नास्तीति निश्चयी अलक्ष्य स्फुरणम शुद्धा स्वभावे नैव शाम्यति. Oh, very great Rishi Ashtavakra says that Brahmabhutam idam sarvam. All this is illusion. Whatever world which we see is only an illusion for us. Na kinchid astiti nishchayi. It is nothing. I know for sure that it is nothing. Nishchayi. All this is illusion. Nothing exists. Knowing thus with certainty, nishchayi. Alaksha spurnam shuddha swabhavena shamyati. So one who has this knowledge of self, alaksha spurana, pure consciousness, one who is experiencing that pure consciousness of Atman, शुद्ध चैतन्य आत्मा का जो अनुभव कर रहा है, स्वभावे नैव शाम्यति. He naturally goes to silence. So ब्रह्मभूतम इदम सर्वम, यह सब माया है, इसका अस्तित्व है ही नहीं. न किंचित अपि अस्ति. जो हम बाहर देख रहे हैं, it is very difficult to digest this philosophy. I know that we are experiencing the whole world outside. We are experiencing the sun, moon, stars, trees, animals, and everything around. And we are continuously experiencing it. And what Ashtavakra is telling it, that there is nothing outside. It is only the illusion which you have. And that is something which you should know for sure. Nishchay. One who knows that there is nothing outside and whatever I am seeing outside is only illusion, he will become calm and quiet. He will have no influence of whatever he sees, whatever he experiences. Now, when it is very difficult to digest, but the Advaita Siddhanta, the Advaitins will ask that don't you see the dreams and also things in the dream appear to be quite real to you? हमें जब सपने आते हैं तो सपने में जो कुछ दिखाई देता है ऐसा लगता है कि सच ही है. We see the friends, we see the animals, we see the mountains, we see the rivers. So many things we see in the dream, and so long as the dream is going on, everything appears to be quite real. So if there is accident in the dream, we really have that fear. We have the stress reaction even in the dream. The heartbeat increases by seeing a traumatic dream. Even the heartbeat increases, and your dream breaks while you are shouting actually, because it is so real, so real. But you know that, oh, it was only a dream. My goodness, it was only a dream. Thank God. Now what Ashtavakra is telling is that enlightened person awakens spiritually, even from the wakeful state of consciousness, he awakens spiritually. And just as when we awaken from the dream, we see that everything in the dream was unreal, he sees that everything, whatever I am observing in the wakeful state, is like a dream only. That is what, the fourth state of consciousness in Yoga Vasishtha. If we are remembering the Yoga Bhumis, which are described by Yoga Vasishtha in Yoga Vasishtha, he described the fourth state of consciousness as Swapnavastha. Why? Because when the yogi reaches that Swapnavastha, he sees the world, but he sees it as if it is a dream. He knows that it is unreal. Though he is seeing everything, he knows that it is unreal. So that is what Swapnavastha really means. I have told you earlier about the story of Janaka and Ashtavakra himself earlier. Janaka is a king, you know that. And one day in his own palace, he goes to sleep, and in sleep he has a dream. And what kind of dream he has? He has a dream that another king attacked his kingdom, and he was so powerful that with all the resistance, he was defeated. Janaka was defeated completely. Okay, and he was captured by the other king. But the other king said that, Janaka, I know that you are a philosopher, you are a great person. I wouldn't like to kill you, but you cannot anymore stay in this kingdom. So my soldiers will leave you in the forest, and you should leave. Don't show yourself here again. If you show yourself, of course, we will have to finish you. So they leave him in the jungle, and he says that you should leave the kingdom. And so he walks and walks and walks for very, very one mountain climbing up, coming down, another mountain climbing up, coming down with no food, no water. He's terribly tired. And after some 3 days of walking and tiredness, and he has no strength, he has no food. So he comes across a village, and there is some sort of Annachatra. Annacharya means food, free food distribution, is known as Annachatram. So he stands in that line. He says, I must have little food at least, otherwise there will not be energy. Somehow he stands. But the fate is such that as soon as he reaches there where he lies, the whole food is over. And the man who is distributing the food says, I am so sorry. I don't have any food left. Whatever food we had brought is over now. So Janaka is so tired and so hungry. He tells, whatever little, even if little bit is left, you please give me. Then that man looks inside the vessel and he says that something has stuck at the bottom of the vessel. It was khichdi which was there, and so half burnt khichdi has stuck to the bottom. So he takes the spoon and he just scraps out the remaining portion of that food, and he says, look, this much only I have. He said, thank you so much for that, and he keeps on his palm, because that much only was remaining, something which can come on the palm. And he takes that, and when he takes that, one bird comes there, eagle like bird comes, and it takes that food also, takes it away. And when it takes it away, now he is so exhausted and he falls unconscious on the ground, Janaka. And when he falls unconscious, the dream breaks and he is in palace. But the dream is so shocking that when he opens the eyes, actually the queen is waking him up. And he says that, Janaka, why are you shouting? What has happened? Janaka opens the eyes and says, oh, that is true or this is true. वो सच था कि अभी ये सच है. And when he says that for 2-3 times, the queen is afraid. She thought that something has happened to the king. And immediately the Raja Vaidya is called. Janaka goes on telling the same thing, whether this is true or that is true. वो सच था कि ये सच है. That's all he says. Then Mahamantri comes, the chief minister comes. He says the same thing. He goes on saying, he doesn't say any other word. whether that is true or this is true. And they come to know that Ashtavakra is there in the kingdom, so they call him and he says, you only can now solve this problem. We do not know what is wrong with the king. So Ashtavakra comes, he sits and he immediately knows what has gone wrong. And he says that, please tell me. So he says that this is the dream I got and it was so real. And now also what I am seeing appears to be real. And I am confused whether that is true or this is true. वो सपना सच था कि अभी ये सच है. Then Ashtavakra tells him, neither that is true nor this is true. Neither that is true nor this is true. Only you are the truth. That is what Ashtavakra tells. And that is what Ashtavakra has been telling all through these verses. ये सारे जो अष्टावक्र गीता में यही बात कि वो भी सच नहीं था. The dream state is also not true. And now you are in wakeful state. This is also not true. Then what is the truth? You, that means the Atman. Not Janaka as the body, mind complex, but the reality which is within you, the Atman which is within you is the only truth. Okay, so that is what this verse is also saying. So आध्यात्मिक स्तर पर जिसका जागरण हुआ है उसे यह जगत मात्र भ्रम है. भ्रमभूतम इदम सर्वम किंचित नास्ति इति निश्चय. उसको निश्चित रूप से पता चलता है कि जो मैं देख रहा हूं वो सच नहीं है. अलक्षण स्फुरण शुद्ध स्वभावेन साम्यति. So if there is nothing real outside, nothing will affect me. When he is seeing that it is whatever I am seeing is unreal, he is sure about it, nishchay, he will not be affected by anything, and therefore he swabhavena upashamyati, naturally, spontaneously, he becomes calm and quiet. We see 71 now. Shuddha spurana swarupasya drishya bhavam apashyatah क्व विधि क्वच वैराग्यम क्व त्यागः क्व शमोपि वः. Typical verse of Ashtavakra Gita. So Shuddha Spurana Swarupasya, establishing pure consciousness. Shuddha Swarupa, शुद्ध चैतन्य में जो स्थित हुआ है. दृश्य भावम अपश्यतः. दृश्य भावम, the visible world. The visible world outside. Drishya Jagat. Apashyata. He is not seeing the world outside at all. For such a person. So he is the person who is enlightened being, who is Atmasthita. He is established in the self. He is seeing only the self. And he is not seeing the world outside. Drishya Bhavam Apashyataha. He is not seeing the world outside at all. For such a person, क्व विधि क्वच वैराग्यम क्व त्यागः क्व शमोपि वः. उसके लिए व्हाट आर द रिचुअल्स, उसके लिए कौन से विधि निषेध है, कहाँ का वैराग्य है. देयर इज नथिंग टू विड्रॉ फ्रॉम एट ऑल. क्वच त्याग, क्या वो त्याग करेगा. क्वच शमोपि वः, क्या उसको शांत करना है. शांत करने के लिए उसके पास मन ही नहीं है. त्याग करने के पास उसके पास है ही नहीं. तो दिस इज जो आत्मस्थित है और जगत की अनुभूतियों से परे है. जगत की अनुभूति उसको नहीं आ रही है. उसको कैसा विधि निषेध, कैसा वैराग्य, कैसा त्याग, कैसा शम. So all these things are irrelevant for a man of realization. So ज्ञानी आत्मस्थित है, वो द्वैत भाव से परे है. कोई भी साधना या उपासना द्वैत भाव से प्रभावित रहती है. कोई भी उपासना करने के लिए उपास्य और उपासक दो होना चाहिए. जिसकी उपासना करना है वो, और जो उपासना करने वाला है वो द्वैत होना चाहिए किसी भी उपासना में. जहां अद्वैत है वहां कौन किसका त्याग करेगा. त्याग करने के लिए भी जिसका त्याग करे वो चीज अलग होनी चाहिए त्याग करने से. So all these things come in duality. That is what he says. सो और जिसका मन शांत हो गया है उसके लिए विश्व भी नहीं है, बिकॉज again and again Ashtavakra is telling, again and again, even in Yoga Vasishta we have learned that the world is projection of mind is only. So long as mind is there, world is there. If there is no mind, there is no world outside. चित्त वृत्तियों के कारण ही जगत की अनुभूति आती है. जिसका मन पूरी रूप से शांत हो रहा है, और दिस वी हैव earlier also discussed, that is why in deep sleep, because there is no mind, there is no world in deep sleep. And in samadhi also, after complete chitta vritti nirodha, there is no world outside. And therefore, where is the question of then chitta vritti nirodha at all for you? So that is what is said. Let us go to the next verse 72. स्फुरतो अनंत रूपेण प्रकृतिं न च पश्यतः क्व बंधा क्व च वा मोक्षा क्व हर्ष क्व विषादितः. So same thought is going on. सो स्फुरतो अनंत रूपेण प्रकृतिम न च पश्यतः, जो प्रकृति के अनंत रूपों को न देखते हुए केवल चैतन्य का प्रकटीकरण ही देखता है. Now why we are seeing manyness? Because whatever consciousness we have, that consciousness itself is getting multiplied because of the different upadhis. What do you mean by upadhis? We have got this body, one upadhi is body, another upadhi is senses, another upadhi is mind, another upadhi is intellect. So these are four major things from where the consciousness is getting refracted. That is why we are seeing many. Why we are seeing manyness? Because of the pure consciousness getting refracted through the body, through the senses, through the mind, through the intellect, and that is why we are seeing the variety. That is the answer which is given by Advaita Vedanta. We are seeing the variety, you are saying there is no variety, there is only oneness. He says that variety is there because that pure consciousness is getting refracted. Just as one sun only, we find so many innumerable rays of the sun. Actually, are there so many rays in the sun? It is because of refraction that we see so many rays. But one who is in pure consciousness, prakrutim na cha pashyataha, he is not seeing manyness. And for him then, kwa bandha, उसके लिए कहाँ का बंध है? Where is question of bondage? क्वचवा moksha, where is liberation? Where is the idea of bondage and liberation for him? Kwa harsha, where is bliss? And where is misery? There is nothing like misery, and therefore there is no sadhana for eradication of misery. There is no bandha, and therefore there is no sadhana for coming out of that bondage. And there is nothing like moksha because he is always liberated at all times. So that is what is said here. So अज्ञानी का चैतन्य मन बुद्धि अहंकार चित्त द्वारा परावर्तित होके प्रकृति के नाम रूपात्मक अनेकता को प्राप्त होता है. अज्ञानी का जो चैतन्य है वो मन बुद्धि अहंकार से परावर्तित होते हुए प्रकृति की अनेकता को प्राप्त होता है, और उस अनेकता में फंस जाने के कारण उसको ऐसा लगता है कि मैं दुखी हूं, मुझे सुख चाहिए. उसको ऐसा लगता है मैं बंधन में हूं, मुझे मुक्ति चाहिए. सो व्हाट अष्टावक्र इज टेलिंग इज दैट इट इज a क्वेश्चन ऑफ चेंजिंग द एटीट्यूड. दृष्टि बदलनी चाहिए. जब हमारी बाह्य दृष्टि है तो हमें अनेकता दिखाई देगी, हमें बंधन दिखाई देंगे, हमें दुख दिखाई देगा, और हमें मोक्ष की आशा रहेगी. अगर हमारी दृष्टि आत्मदृष्टि हो गई तो ये सब नहीं है ऐसा निश्चित रूप से हमें मालूम पड़ेगा. If we turn our vision towards Atman, अगर हमें आत्मदृष्टि है तो ये सब खत्म हो जाएगा, ऐसा वो कह रहे हैं. एंड दैट इज व्हाट कंटिन्यूअसली इज टेलिंग. लेट अस गो टू 73. बुद्धि पर्यंत संसारे माया मात्रम विवर्तते निर्ममो निरहंकारो निष्काम शोभते बुधा. So same thing is just proceeding further. Buddhi paryanta samsare. The phenomenal world is a creation of intellect under the sway of Maya. Maya matram vivartate. Because of Maya, through the intellect, we are seeing the manifold world. Why we are seeing the manyness? Because why we are seeing samsara? Because of buddhi. Why the buddhi is getting deceived? Because of maya matram vivartate. Intellect under the sway of maya creates the illusion of the world. Nirmano, जिसका मन ही नहीं है, निर्मनो. Nirmamo nirahankaro nishkama shobhate buddha. So one who doesn't have nirmama means he doesn't owe anything. He doesn't possess anything. Doesn't possess anything means doesn't possess anything in the outer world. He doesn't possess anything in the inner world. He doesn't have this idea that I possess the body, I possess the mind, I possess the senses. ये ममता भी उसके पास नहीं है कि ये मेरा शरीर है, ये मेरी इंद्रियां है, ये मेरी बुद्धि है. वो निर्मम निरहंकार हो, उसको ईगो ही नहीं. दैट इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस इज लॉस्ट. निष्काम, ऑल द डिजायर्स आर गॉन. शोभते बुधा, such a person is an enlightened being. So it is only because of the maya, and we have learned this, that maya has two kinds of powers. Maya has avarana shakti and vikshepa shakti. That is how they explain why we are seeing the world. I am seeing so many things, I am experiencing so many things, and therefore it is difficult for me to believe that nothing is there outside. Okay, how can I believe in such a thing? बाह्य जगत को मैं देख रहा हूं और ये जगत नहीं है, इस पर कैसा विश्वास करूं? तो ये बताते हैं कि माया के कारण ये तुमको दिखाई दे रहा है. We had learned in दक्षिणामूर्ति स्तोत्र, माया कल्पित देश काल कलना वैचित्र चित्रीकृतम. Maya creates desh and kala. Time and space are creation of Maya. And because Maya creates time and space, we are seeing the world, manifold world, which is not existing actually. Because of the Avarana Shakti, Maya hides the reality, which is Brahman, which is Atman. Hiding power of Maya is called Avarana Shakti. So what it is hiding? That oneness, that Atman, that Brahman, which is one without second, is hidden under the cover of Maya. What it projects? Vikshepa Shakti, it projects the manifold world. Nama Rupatmak जगत की अनेकता माया प्रस्तुत करती है, उसको विवर्त ऐसा कहते हैं. सो माया मात्रम विवर्तते. It is because of Maya that manifold world has been created. Because of that is Vivartavada. That is what is it. Now, it is not only the Shankaracharya who is telling that Jagan Mithya. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya is the Siddhanta, Advaita Siddhanta, which is given by, very powerfully put forth by Shankaracharya in all his philosophy, and same thing is carried out by Ashtavakra even more intensely. Okay, same thing. Buddhist philosophy is also telling the same thing, that there is no world outside actually. It is projection of mind. Even if you come to Yoga Vasishtha, it is continuously telling the same thing, that the world outside is only projection of your mind. And now we learn that even science is supporting this world view, And I have told you earlier that 2022 Nobel Prize has gone to 3 scientists, Alan Aspect, John Closer, and Ashton Zellinger. And they have proved scientifically that the world doesn't exist. 3 वैज्ञानिकों ने जिनको नोबेल प्राइज मिला है 2022 का नोबेल प्राइज 3 वैज्ञानिकों को मिला, एलन एस्पेक्ट, जॉन क्लोजर एंड एस्टन जेलिंगर, और उन्होंने सिद्ध किया कि जगन मिथ्या है. So now science is also supporting that the world outside is an illusion. It is only because of illusion that we are seeing the manyness. Not only the philosophy is saying, though the scientists are also have come to that conclusion. And 2022 Nobel Prize winners are also, not that we need scientific support really speaking, but it's good that they have arrived at that conclusion. Okay. So now what to do? What to do is to really turn inside and see the reality. Now, what is the problem in seeing the world? If I am seeing manyness, if I am interacting with the world, if I am seeing the world, attached to the world, what problem? Problem is misery. You are continuously having problems. So this is what we should meditate upon. If you are happy with that, no problem at all. You look at your life, always full of some tension or the other. That tension goes, another tension comes. One problem is resolved, another problem comes. Is it not going on and on? We have to really think about it. This is what is called as problem of misery. And then that is why we are looking for the answer. Why we are studying all these scriptures and other things? That is because we are facing these problems which are very real. If we don't have touch of all these things, problems will become very severe. Very, very severe indeed. They are knocking at our door, even in spite of, but if this knowledge is there, at least for time being, we will think that, oh, it is all illusion. And if it was illusion. Now, another type of meditation which I would suggest is, look at your life and look at the very severe problems which troubled you in your past life. जो ऐसी दुखद घटनाएं घटी थी ना आपके जीवन में, एक 10 साल पहले, 15 साल पहले, जिस समय आपको ऐसा लगा था कि अभी जिंदगी नहीं चाहिए मुझे, I can't solve these problems, it is very horrible, I can't face these problems, and you are frustrated, you are depressed. Now, after so many years, when you look at the same problems, you feel that, oh, it was like a wave only, it came and went. I am still here. Those problems arose, they were intensified. I suffered quite a lot. Now also sometimes when I dream, I feel those problems, but the problems have gone. They came like a wave, and everything in the world happens exactly like this. This is what these philosophies are telling. So if we look at our own life, it is not difficult to arrive at the same conclusion as Ashtavakra has given, as Janaka has given, as Shankaracharya has given, as Buddha has given, and of all the things, even the scientists are telling the same thing. So that is what is the importance of these scriptures. They are very helpful, really speaking. Let us go to the next verse, 74. Akshayam gata santapam atmanam pashyato munehe क्व विद्या क्वच वा विश्वम क्व देहो हम ममेति वा. So same thought is proceeding. Akshayam gata santapam, the wise one who sees the self as imperishable. Akshayam. The first thing which you have to realize is you are unchangeable self. You are not at all going through the cycle of birth and death. You are Akshaya. You are not deteriorating at any time. Actually, what a powerful philosophy this is. If we just realize this, just have Atmadrishti and realize that nothing is, the fear of death will go. If you realize that you are Akshayam Gata Santapam, all the miseries will go. Once you know that you are that Atman which is unchangeable, immutable self, imperishable self, all the miseries, all the sorrow will vanish. Gata Santapam Atmanam Pashyato Munehe. Muni, one who has attained to that tremendous silence, unshakable silence, is known as Muni. मुनि किसको कहते हैं? जिसकी शांति कभी भी ढलती नहीं, वो मुनि है. And he is seeing that I am Akshaya Atman, and therefore he has no misery at all. And if he is in that stage, Kwa Vidya, Kvachava Vishwam, Kwa Dehoham Mametiva. For him, where is the question of knowledge? What more knowledge he wants when he's seeing his effulgent Atman? Kvachava Vishwam, where is the word Vishwa for him? Kvacha Deho, where is the body for him? It is he knows that he is not the body, he is not the. Where is that aham? Where is that ego? All the problem is created because of that ego. Because ego creates the idea of mama. The moment that ego comes, me and mine comes. If there is no ego, there is no me and mine. Okay. And therefore it is total freedom. So, जो आत्मस्थित है, उसके सारे दुख समाप्त होते हैं. उसके लिए न विद्या की जरूरत है, न वो संसार देखता है, न उसे मैं देह हूं ये गलत फहमी रहती है, न उसमें किसी प्रकार की ममता रहती है. दिस इज माइंडनेस. सो this is a person who is in universal consciousness. That is what we see. We go to 75. निरोधादीनि कर्माणि जहाति जड़धी यदि मनोरथान प्रकल्पांश्च कर्तुम आपनोति अतत्क्षणात्. Now this is something which is telling about the people who are doing sadhana, and we should be very careful about it. निरोधादीनि कर्माणि जहाति जड़धी यदि. जड़धी. Jadadhi means a man of dull intellect is known as Jadadhi. All of us really who have not realized the self fall under this group only, Jadadhi. जिसमें बुद्धि में जड़ता है. किसके बुद्धि में जड़ता है? जो मैं आत्मा हूं ये नहीं जानता है, वो जड़ बुद्धि है. One who has not realized that he is supreme consciousness, he is only pure consciousness, he has that dull intellect. But then such a person who dull intellect, he tries for chitta vritti nirodha, he tries for calming down the mind. He knows that I have to do something about this stress and strain of life. So nirodhadini karmani jahati jadadi yadi. Now he is trying, and he says that, oh, when I practice asana, when I practice pranayama, when I practice meditation, I really feel that the stresses and tensions have gone, and I feel quite relaxed, and therefore I must practice yoga. I am quite convinced about practice of yoga. But jahati, if he leaves that practice, if he comes out of that practice, मनोरथान प्रलापांश्च कर्तुम आपनोति अतत्क्षणात्. The very moment he comes out of the state of mental control, the state of chitta vritti nirodha, all those things come back again. Because the moment a man of inferior intellect, jadadhi, gives up practices of what? Nirodha. calming down the mind, controlling the senses. So the moment he gives the practices of mental control, at that very moment, desires and fancies overpower him. मनोरथांच प्रलापांच कर्तुम आपनोति अतत्क्षणात. No change at all. Now what he is saying is that it is only the temporary thing which happens to you, and you feel that you have achieved something in yoga because your mind has calmed down so long as you are sitting in meditation. Yes, that is important, of course, for us. At least for the time being, we become free from stresses, tensions, and all that. Otherwise, we would become mad with that. But when we come back, is there any? This is what we have to really find out for ourselves. Ashtavakra is not at all telling us to believe in him. He is the last person to tell like that. Or no scriptures are telling that you believe because they are saying so. They say that you watch for yourself, apply those parameters to see whether any transformation has taken place in you. Well, you are meditating for 5 years, 10 years. Any meditation, you may be practicing Vipassana, you may be practicing Omkar Dhyana, you may be practicing Nama Japa. You are a very sincere practitioner. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But then, after coming out of meditation, has your raga dvesha decreased? Your likes and dislikes have decreased. Your attachment has decreased. Everything falls back to normal. Once you come out of it, there is a story of a person who was very angry type of person. And in his anger, in a fit of anger, actually he killed somebody because he was so angry. And when he killed, he was afraid, and therefore he left. He left for Himalayas immediately because he understood that my anger only is responsible for that papa karma. For the sinful act, my anger is responsible. And I have no right to now live here in the world. So he left. And he went into deep forest near Rishikesh. And after Rishikesh also, deep forest he went. 12 years. There was nobody around him. He was alone, only with nature at all times, and doing sadhana, praying God, namasmarana, another 12 years, 12 long years. And since there was nothing in the jungle, not even once he became angry, not even once any emotions and other thing. And after 12 years, he thought that he stabilized now in that yoga sadhana. And then he had a desire that let me go and see my relatives again, my wife and children, because he had just left house like that. So he came to Rishikesh to catch a train, and there was a line, and he stood in that line to buy a ticket for himself. And when he was standing, all of a sudden, 2-3 persons just out and other things, they just came and घुस गए लाइन के अंदर. जैसे इंडिया में हमेशा होता है ना, लाइन के अंदर घुस गए. All people are waiting for hours together to buy a ticket, and 3 rogues just entered. As soon as they entered like that, he was so upset with that. What nonsense is this? So he caught hold of one of them and gave one slap. Then other people also supported him because they also suffered. And they were beaten black and blue. The police also came and everything happened. But then this person, he started thinking that I thought that I have overpowered my anger. As soon as the situation came, anger came back. For 12 years, I thought I have controlled my anger. But as soon as I saw this injustice or whatever it may be, the anger came back. उसी क्षण वो वापस चला गया फिर से. He said, I am not eligible for going back because I have not overcome this. It was there inside all the time. So this is, This is what we have to judge really when we are talking about sadhana, our own sadhana, that are we really, is it transforming us or only temporary sort of silence and relaxation we get through whatever sadhana we are doing? That is important. Of course, it is important. Otherwise, we will be worst. If we leave that also, we will be worst. But we should not be happy with that. It should be at all times. It should bring about transformation in us. That is what he says. So let us go to the next one and then we'll stop for today. Manda shrutvapi tadvastu najahati vimuratam nirvikalpo bahiryatnat antah vishayalalasa. Very important thing he is telling in this. Manda shrutvapi tadvastu. जो मंद होता है ना, मंद बुद्धि, all of us are included in this. Who is manda buddhi? One who is not realizing the highest reality. Tad vastu. Shrutvapi. Though we hear about that pure consciousness, though we hear about God, though we hear about the highest state of consciousness, na jahati vimudhatam. We are not capable of living our dullness, our मूर्खता. सत्य को सुनकर भी मूढ़ अपनी मूढ़ता से छुटकारा नहीं पाता है. We don't escape that मूढ़ता, that idiocy from us. निर्विकल्पो बहिर्यत्नात् अंतः विषय लालसा. तो जो चित्तवृत्ति के निरोध की बाह्य साधना से उसके भीतर की लालसा समाप्त नहीं होती है. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. You know that what you are doing, if you are doing chittavritti nirodha, actually the waves, you are fighting with the waves. You are trying to silence the upper portion of your mind. You know, this is what Sigmund Freud has told. Sigmund Freud, who is regarded as father of Western psychology, पाश्चिमात्य मानसशास्त्र का पिता माना जाता है सिगमंड फ्राइड. And he compares our mind, human mind, with an iceberg whose only 1/8 portion is above. The mind of which we are aware. We are aware of our thoughts, we are aware of our emotions. The mind of which we are aware is only 1/8 portion, upper portion, like the iceberg. हिमनग, जो हिमनग होता है उसका 7/8 portion is below water, only 1/8 portion is above. That is how the portion of the mind of which we are aware is only 1/8. 7/8 portion is unconscious mind. That is what Freud is telling. Very important discovery he had. 7/8 portion we do not know at all. Unconscious. अबोध मन, अबोध मन. और ये अबोध मन में all the instincts, they are in that unconscious mind. The main force which is there in the unconscious mind is known as id, idam, id. And that id is literally an animal in man. That is what Freud says. The id is biologically conditioned. The id is animal in man. The id works on the pleasure principle. It wants pleasure at all cost. Doesn't bother about morals. Doesn't bother whether it is good or bad. This is 7/8 portion of our self. 7/8 portion of our mind. So whatever sadhana we are doing is only at the conscious level, only at the upper level of our mind. What about the 7/8 portion, the unconscious portion, where the animal instinct is very much there within us? Unless we wash out all that instincts, जो अंदर में भीतर में छिपे हुए संस्कार है, और हमारा तत्वज्ञान ये कहते हैं ये जन्म जन्मांतर के संस्कार है। वो कचरा जो भीतर में है जन्म जन्मांतर से इकट्ठा हुआ वो कचरा है। वो जब तक हम धोते नहीं उसको, तब तक ऊपर ही ऊपर की साधना, how can it bring about transformation? So that is what he is asking us. That is what, so what he is saying, mandah shrutvapi tadvastu न जहाति विमूढ़ताम। हम लोग ये सुनते तो है कि आत्मा है, योग है, चित्तवृत्ति का निरोध बहुत आवश्यक है, लेकिन आर वी एबल टू रियली क्लियर द अनकॉन्शियस पोर्शन ऑफ अवर सेल्फ? Can we wash out that? Can we bring about transformation at na jahati vimudhatam? We are not able to leave those things at all. Nirvikalpo bahiryatnat antah vishaya lalasa. The attachment with the objects, vishaya lalasa. Attachment with the objects will not go. Attachment with the body will not go. Attachment with the senses will not go. So that is what he is continuously telling. So the only way is the self-realization. Only way is to understand this is all nothing, So that is the thing. So we shall stop here for the time being, because Deepak Bhai has invited today Makaran Newalkar. There was a very good Shibir, Bihar School of Yoga at Ambakeshwar, where the great Swami Niranjanananda Saraswati had come, and he conducted a very beautiful program for 7 days. And we shall have some inputs about that program. Deepak Bhai also had gone there, and so many people, actually 1,000, maybe I don't know how many people were there. Even my wife also had gone there. So it was a very beautiful program. So they are going to give us inputs regarding that Shibir and so many things. So I will stop here at some 10 minutes are remaining, and we invite Deepak Bhai as well as Makaranji to take over and describe all those beautiful things which they have enjoyed in the Shibir. So I will start here with Shanti Mantra, and then I hand over to Makaranji and Deepak Bhai. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya